Real Estate Edge with Jimmy Singh, where we provide information and real analysis of the market, what's happening in the real estate right now. With Jimmy Singh, with 17 years of experience in Greater Toronto area, Golden Horseshoe, as well as Southwestern Ontario, offices all around these cities. And Jimmy, we got a lot of calls and a lot of people reaching out and asking the information. What is this in April 2022? The budget and the new announcement is happening, new proposals are coming in. How does that relate to a regular person who is coming into the market, who is in the market? What it look like overall to you? What is your expert opinion on that?
Sure. Thank you, Rizwan. Since the government, federal government came up with the budget, all the policies and all the tax implications, my phone is ringing off the hook. So a lot of people are calling, they're kind of scared, if they're investors, what are the tax implications, right? Then we have some first time buyers who are calling, hoping that government will provide them something substantial, so make the life easy and make the housing affordable. So they have their own challenges in the marketplace. So all in all, it's very extensive budget, a lot of policies, but I'm going to just focus on top 5 things, which will make a big impact in people's life, if these are implemented properly. So first thing I'm going to talk about first time buyers. So what are the extra saving account they are talking about? Then we'll talk about tax renovation for existing homeowners. Some people are retirees, some people they have kids who are unemployed, they want to come back to their house, or they want to generate extra income from their basements. So we're going to talk about that. Third is, the biggest of all is a foreign buyer tax ban for the next 2 years.
Yeah, that's the one you want to hear about it.
And then we have another one that is HST, GST implications for investors or speculators. And then we'll discuss about the people, especially the people who are flipping the properties. So is the income going to be 50% capital gain or 100% taxable? And lastly, the implications about big corporation builders, how it impact the rental market in Canada. So I think we're going to just focus on that and go from there.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
First thing, Rizwan, I like to be candid, honest with you. I was kind of disappointed with the budget because there was a lot of hoopla, big hopes, big promises before elections when the government came to the power. And a lot of people are counting because government for some, one way or the other, they keep pushing the goalpost, in 19, 20, 21, 22. And for ordinary folks, cost of living, housing is especially very, very expensive, right? I feel for first-time buyers. I feel for people who are homeless. My thoughts are always there, though I'm real estate agent. Still, I'm immigrant, and I'm very grateful what Canada has given to me. I fulfilled my Canadian dream, and I feel everybody should, have the same opportunity, right? That is number one. So let's focus. Number one thing, that is first-time buyer, because they're hoping that the millennials and all those people can enter the market and buy a house in their favorable neighborhood. So the account the government came up is called First Time Home Savings Account, right? So what the government did is basically they said starting 2023 January, not 2022, not April. So it's going to be next year. So what they do is you can put lump sum or in installments 8,000 per year in that account. So the account is kind of hybrid account. So it is a blend of RRSP and TFSA, meaning when we put money in a retirement saving plan, we get a write-off against our income. So we get a tax write-off, right? And in TFSA, whatever investments grow, if we buy mutual funds, stocks, ETFs, whatever growth happen, it is all tax-free when we take the money out. So they are saying that you can put $8,000 for next 5 years at a cap lifetime total of 40,000. Right? So if it's a couple, both can save up to $80,000. All along they can get write-off every year. So if you put, let's say, 20,000, you can put 8,000 in a year, that is write-off for that year.
Okay.
Husband can write off 8,000, wife can write 8,000, right? But the total money you will accumulate from 2023 onwards for the next 5 years up till 2027 would be 40,000 for an individual, 80,000 for a couple. Max.
Okay.
And the assumption they made is, those 40,000 for an individual will go long way in 2028 buying a property in Toronto. Right? And they're assuming market is going to be down or same for next 5 years.
Yeah, that's
right?
tough.
So
that's
personally, I don't think so it's going to make a big difference. The other thing I like to talk about, to my audience is this: we all are aware for the first-time buyers, there's already an account which where you can draw up to $35,000 from RSP as a first-time home buyer plan, but you have to put the money back within 15 years, right? That is the government benefit as of today. And for a couple, it is 70,000. You can withdraw, put towards your down payment.
Okay.
Right? But now the government says you can't use both. Either you use that RSP account or you can use this new account, not combination of both.
Okay.
So my only concern is, $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 is not gonna make a big difference in very expensive market, though the prices are all-time high, and at the end of the day prices are changing a little bit, but even if they go 10, 15, 20% down, it will just take us to just 2019 prices, which are still very unaffordable. And with today's higher interest, the carrying cost is again this kind of same, right? Whether the interest is high and the prices are low. But average person is going to be paying same kind of payments toward their house. So the road for affordability is still very daunting. It is not easy for first time buyers until you're born in a wealthy family or your parents can afford to give you money towards your down payment. So that is only about first time buyers.
Okay.
Second one is they're giving a tax grant for renovations. So let's say you spend $50,000 making a secondary legal dwelling in your basement. So 15% they're giving you rebate or tax breaks on that.
Right.
So they want you to make it a rental. Either your parents can live with you to make it more affordable. Because I think the easiest thing you can do right now, very expensive way, if let's say in let's say Ontario we have 500,000 houses, and out of 500,000 houses we use 300,000 houses which have potential of separate entrance, and we all finish them. It will put lot of people who can't afford to buy a house. They get affordable housing. So that is the easiest thing any municipality, any government can do to put people and provide them a shelter. Right? And then the third thing I like to talk about is the flippers, especially the people who buy brand new homes. So they're proposing by May 7th, they're going to be implementing HST and GST on the transactions. If somebody buy it and flip, and don't rent it. So they are now liable for HST. Though if you watch our previous videos on our channel, Real Estate Edge with Jimmy Singh, I posted a year ago. We discuss in detail the HST implications. HST was still applicable that time, right? So CRS is still coming after people who are speculating, buying and selling, and in detail we discuss how the HST is payable if you're a flipper on your deposit on the property you're buying, and still they can challenge you, and instead of giving you 50% capital gain exemption, all your profits are 100% taxable. So this is what they're talking about, and they're coming after you May the 7th. So you can mark your calendars if you're a flipper. And then we talk about, again, especially the investors who buy property and sell within first 12 months or 1 year. So they want all the income to be counted as 100% taxable income that will be added to your other sources in that calendar year.
Okay.
And that again, there's some exemptions in there. So the exemption basically is if there's a life-changing event, God forbid somebody has some health situation, they have a job change, they have a kid, those kind of exemptions, they let the people off the hook if they even sell within 1 year, right? So those are another changes. And then biggest one out of all is what we call foreign buyer tax. They are thinking of putting a ban on foreign buyer tax. But dear audience, just want to assure you, this is still in works, meaning there's no time frame. They have decided when they're going to ban foreign buyer.
Okay.
Are they going to ban in March, they're going to ban in April, that is this month. May, end of this year, next year, there's no time frame. They're still working on it. But they just put out there that we are banning people from 2 years.
Okay.
But then again, there's exemption to all the rules, right? The exemptions are, let's say, if you're an international student in Canada and you are applying for your PR, permanent resident status, you are exempt.
Okay.
If you're a foreign worker in Canada, you can buy real estate. If you are a refugee, there's a lot of wars, there's a lot of situations all over the world, and we welcome all the people with our open hands to come and embrace Canada. So those people who are refugees, they can easily afford to buy a house. Not easily meaning they are exempt from
this
foreign buyer tax, right? Because previously it was 15%, now they raised it to 20%, right? And in this situation, what I like to discuss, Rizwan, is mostly they're trying to tackle the money laundering, the illegal money coming to Canada.
Okay.
Right? Yeah. But most of these very sophisticated operation, they have a straw buyer. It can be coming to Canada as a student. It can be coming as a refugee. It can be coming as a worker, or it can be a relative existing living in Canada as a permanent resident,
already,
and they can use the relative to buy real estate. So there's so many loopholes. And also they are exempting commercial properties. Their exemption is also recreation properties. So if you're looking to buy a cottage, you're sitting anywhere in the world, you can still outbid Canadian and buy your prime real estate in Canada, right? So again, these are all I'm sure government has given it a thought, but I still feel there's a lot things that can be plugged and loopholes be closed. Because at the end of the day, I don't see with all the mild changes in this budget, our market is going to be affordable anytime soon. Yes, interest rates are going up, and then at the end of the day, if you tell corporations or individual investors like a normal mom and pop who are buying condo for their retirement or their kids, that if you're going to tax those people, it's not going to make a difference, because you're just discouraging investors to buy property. Yes, you're thinking, we're going to put end user to it, but those people are also providing a very essential service. For example, you go to downtown Toronto, there's Ryerson, there is UFT, George Brown College, and a bunch of other, where people need residency. So let's say somebody's daughter goes to Kitchener-Waterloo, Western. They have only so much residency.
Yeah.
People have to rent still houses, basements, apartments. So all these investors are actually, giving good service, because government hasn't built buildings in those core areas. It is too expensive real estate. So if investors are taking all the risk, putting their life savings, I think it is fair to assume they want some profit at the end of the line.
Correct.
Right? But if you're discouraging them, they're going to start buying apartments. Whatever existing there are, the rent's going to skyrocket. And if you're saying the real estate trust or corporations are buying single family homes, those, yes, to a certain point I agree to that. But if you are hampering the builders to make new properties where 20% to 18 to 20% of the price of the new house is all development charges and levies, so he still have to make a profit. But if you're just tying his hand, instead of making more houses, he can make less houses, putting further pressure. Because again, this real estate business, pre-construction houses and condos, is still a private owned corporation who's doing it.
Yeah, it's not a government entity.
Correct. So if there's no money to be made, there's too much hiccups, you put laws about rent control and those things, at the end the person suffers is the one at the bottom of food chain, right? The housing is kind of social economic issue.
Yeah.
It impacts all people, right? It's disheartening for me to watch sometime news on channel, and they're saying people have to sleep in the parks, on the footpath, at the corner of the shops at the night, and some even sleep in some franchises or coffee shop, right? It is very disheartening. As a Canada, I think everybody has to equal opportunity to have a safe housing. There's a lot of people who got got affected by pandemic.
Yeah.
There are a lot of service-oriented jobs people lost forever. Somebody working in a coffee shop, some working is baking something, and those businesses shut down. And those single mothers they are now at discretion of government, right?
Yeah.
If government give you $500, it's not going to take you far. Housing is very expensive. And our rent control and landlord, we talk about that video as well, right?
Yeah.
There's big, things that need attention, and we have to work in unison at a federal level, municipal level, and provincial level to find a permanent solution instead of just putting Band-Aid and putting the goalpost next year. So maybe if you vote for us, we will fix it.
Yeah.
Otherwise, let's put the monkey back on the next government.
Yeah.
So that is my take. So for ordinary buyer, even if the market crashes or calms down with all these changes, with the higher cost of interest, after a while, interest is going to be nothing.
Yeah.
Because there's all these policies, there's no pain for investors, there's not much implications for foreign buyers, and if your interest goes up, but people can still find a way to pay higher interest, put more money towards down payment, still buy these properties.
Yeah.
So all in all, it's a very mild budget for first-time buyers or investors. I think life will continue on.
Well, I'm really impressed, Jimmy, that you're passionate and emotional connection with all these changes coming up, especially with the first-time home buyer and the homelessness in Canada. I'm sure, you guys, these 5 pointers you might find connecting with you. In that real case, I strongly urge you to, if you are in the market, first-time buyer, if you're an investor who is already in the market, connect with a broker who knows it, who knows the way, who shows the way, and who will walk you through all these intricacies and delicacies of these instruments, because there could be a lot of exemptions associated with you. And then also, I would say, a lawyer and an accountant who knows the financing part and the legal aspect of it to get into or get out of the market flexibly. You are watching Real Estate Edge with Jimmy Singh, where we provided the in-depth analysis of this, and thank you so much today for such an analysis that really connected to our heart. Share, like, and subscribe to our channel, where you're going to find information that is not on the headlines, but really truly mean to you. Real Estate Edge with Jimmy Singh.